Okay, Sunday, 15th of December, 2024. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Study Sunday, be more. Be a little out of touch. So, this is something quite interesting that I've kind of uncovered and developed and realised over the past 5, 6 or so years, just in general, in ways, just by coincidence, that by being a little out of touch, it has more positive than negative. By not knowing what's happening in the world, we risk being out of touch in a sense of what's happening in the current affairs, but at the same time, it frees up so much time, energy, and worry as to what's happening, especially when you consider that the vast majority of the stuff doesn't affect you. So it means that by being a little out of touch, not watching the news, you save some time over here, save some worry, let's say, or some whatever else, or having a disconnect between reality and perception, and able to focus on more things. Essentially, fewer distractions. The fewer distractions there are, by watching TV, for example, the more time there is to focus on things, recording videos, learning, reading, you name it, working. That's quite powerful. And I remember coming across this very interesting little metric years ago, 4 or 5 odd years ago, something like that, 3 years ago maybe, that's talked about if you know more than 2 shows on television, then you're watching too much TV. Now, a little extreme, but that's a good principle. If you know what's happening on television, the series, and when things are coming out, or you could even expand it to say movies, for example, what movie is coming out, which movie is coming out when, then that kind of shows you're not spending your time as wisely as you could be. Kind of. Because then you could say, well, why are you spending your time learning about these things, this trivia, let's say, this pop culture, as opposed to working on something more meaningful, long-lasting, impactful, more substantial, you could say. Now, of course, a bit flippant. We're all adults. We can live by our own decisions and our own choices, and you can, of course, balance the two. But that's an interesting principle because it highlights the idea, it highlights the concept, the principle of your time. What's more important, to be consuming pop culture with the latest trends and fashions, or working on that thing, that vision, that goal, that dream, that passion, creating that thing that's important to you in life? Time. Less time on this means more time on that. More time on that means you achieve your goals in a quicker, more fashionable, more timely, more impactful, more magnificent way. When you factor in the case, factor in the numbers, you save 1 hour a week not watching TV, 4 hours a month, 48 a year. Wow, that's 2 days of your life just gone, evaporated, so to speak, just gone like that into thin air. By doing this over here, that's 2 days of not being able to work on this thing over here. Wow, 2 days a year. Wow. Do that over 10, 20, 30 years. Well, there we are then. Interesting. And then you look at 5 minutes here, an hour there, this thing, half an hour here, over there, 10 seconds here. All these things add up. All this time saved compounds over time. And you achieve and create and have more over time. That's powerful stuff. So then it begs. It kind of justifies the idea of being a little out of touch, avoiding the mainstream, avoiding pop culture to focus on this thing over here. Yeah, I did a video about this years ago. Not years ago, ages ago. The Peter Principle and choosing meritocracy, not mediocrity. Meritocracy, this idea to flourish, to create and build. I want to do this in life. I want that. Not all these things and all those things. I want that. And how can you achieve that if you don't have time? Very fair, makes sense. So being a little out of touch means I'm not losing time focusing on this thing, which, by the way, might be redundant or obsolete a day or two later because things have changed. Things are changing, but also you could say that you don't risk being lied to for whatever reason, or misled, or having a bigger gap and a bigger gulf between perception and reality by consuming all kinds of media, whatever it may be. It risks disconnecting that grasp of reality and perception. The closer they are together, the more accurate you understand the world. The further apart they are, the more delusional and fanciful you see the world, or not knowing what's happening. That's quite powerful, because then you could say, well, you could be naive to know not know what's going on, but at the same time, Well, you got loads of free time, which is practical, but at the same time, you're not being, let's say, propagandized, to lack a better word, lack of softer word, being misled. That's powerful. That is worth its weight in gold. Well, actually, let's change. Let's modernize that. Worth its weight in Bitcoin. Wow, that's an interesting idea. Very interesting idea. So maybe in life it's worth being a little out of touch. And besides, I've come to realise there's an interesting principle that if something is worthwhile, news is worthwhile knowing about, somebody will tell you. Just offhanded comment, somebody will tell you. Otherwise, it's worthwhile being a little out of touch with reality. No, with the world, with current affairs and pop culture. Very important. But otherwise, Adrian's Daily Vlog. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.